All right, stop talking about food, please. Stop talking about food.
Sorry.
All right, we're back up. Delgado, we up? All right. Welcome back, San Juan. We are recording. Let me make sure. We are recording, yes. Do me a favor. I want to take 30 seconds. I would like you to go through your biggest light bulbs from Luke's message. Take 30 seconds. Biggest light bulbs from Luke's message from PRs. And, you know, we're joking about how we didn't record it, which is fine because you'll hear that talk another 6 times before the summer for sure. It's just that this one turned into a very impromptu brainstorm, which you can easily just look at the notes and redo, but more or less the points will be made multiple times. So let's go through. How about some feedback takeaways? And thank you. Who's still sticking? Alejandro, you are still sticking around. Getting it done. Nice work. All right. Light bulb feedback. How about we'll go to virtual land first? Patricia.
My biggest takeaway was motivation, and I think that's really important for the Facebook that usually lack when there's no one like constantly on you to see like how many people you friended. So yeah, that was a big takeaway for me.
Yeah, this is one of those things where you have to be really self-reliant, and we'll be on top of you. Don't worry. I'll be catching up, and let's say, Rob Rodriguez, how many do you have for this week? Every week I'm going to be asking to make sure you're on point with it. So okay. Anyone else virtual land? Other big takeaways, light bulbs? Okay, how about here live? We'll go Rob and then we'll go to Skylar. Rob.
If you get hired help, definitely micromanage. If you don't, I don't like to micromanage, but definitely micromanage.
Yeah, and I'll even use a different term so you don't feel bad about it. It's not micromanaging. It is technically, because that's the way you would categorize it. But it's just having more consistent accountability than normal. It's more, you're increasing the frequency. So instead of asking every month, how's the Facebook blasting going? I'm going to ask you every week. So it's just less room for error and more room for adjustment. Okay, cool. Skylar.
Posting on WhatsApp on Wednesday morning of triple threading.
Okay, so Skylar's talking about the Wednesday Metro Miami post in the morning so the triple thread goes all day. So you can call them Wednesday night instead of waiting till Wednesday night to do the post. Go ahead, sir.
The importance of making the unconditional commitment with yourself to actually follow through with it consistently.
Yeah, and you know, for me, and if you're next level, raise your hand, right? Just put in the schedule. Just put in the schedule, right? So I have my gym, church, study for this class. This is when I'm going to this class, family time. This is when I'm Facebook blasting, right? This is when I'm going to Facebook blast. This is when I'm going to, friend every single week. This is when I'm going to reevaluate if I'm a next level member. This is when I'm going to rewatch those weekly videos from the fall. This is when I'm going to study, train. Like, put it all in your schedule and say, stay disciplined. Stay disciplined to the schedule. Yes, sir.
Also, just say the importance of prioritizing which schools you message first, and also knowing which ones interact with each other, so you're more efficient with your messaging.
Okay, know which ones interact. But one tip for me that was the biggest is protect the big list. If let's just say I have all of you in my training, which would be a really great training, right? But I know that Naomi here, were you Lourdes or St. Brendan? Lourdes, okay. So she went to Lourdes, and everyone else went to a good school, but Lourdes is one of my top schools, let's say. Normal, if you follow the book says, I would take the top 10 names of all of yours, make that my list, and send the rest of the computer to text. What Luke is saying is, no, I would just keep all hers as my list for that week, and then I would take just your top 10s, but I would keep all of her lists. Why? Because that could fuel really the whole summer. Okay, Trent.
As far as all of May is, oh hell no numbers, you can never have enough in May.
You can never have enough. In fact, next level, we spent the last 3 sessions, including this morning, making sure we talked about the schedule, which includes make sure you get your PR set every single week. Okay, last one, Mr. Zito.
A big list in May means a lot more than a big list in May.
Yeah, big list in May means more than a big list later on in June, July. Okay, so if you could reset, mentally reset and physically reset, why don't you open up a new set of notes in your tablets / super fancy computers here. Notebooks. Number 2, if you could open up the branch pay program that is on folder number 4, I believe. What folder is it, everyone? Is it number 4? Okay, so folder number 4 says money, and the first one says branch manager program. You can do this, a PDF and a Word file. I'll put it up on the television as well. And then for you Zoomers out there, were left over. Oops, and one just got dropped, but when they come back on, Don't worry, Alejandra. He will represent the island for now. Okay. So branch pay. Everyone has it with me? If you don't have it in front of you, if you can pull it up, you definitely want to pull it up as you go through. That's Christina saying.
Up, down.
Up, down. Okay. Right? So branch pay program. From everything you've heard today in the last few preps, there are two things you do that affect your pay. What is that? What are the two things you do that affect your pay as a branch manager? Sell and recruit, right? So your office sales can make you income, and then your personal sales make you income. So one thing to remember. Let me mute you guys. Okay. You guys can see me. We're good. Okay. So take a look at the first page. So this is your commission structure and how you make money from the office that you have. So who has it in front of you? I want to make sure. So if you don't, you can look at the computer. So Trent, just look along. Who doesn't have it up? Beautiful. Okay. Just look. You guys can look along. So over here, commission overrides. Notice. So from 0 to 1,000, you would make 25% commission. So every rep that hits $1,000, you've made $250. Here's what's really cool. Watch this. If you get 4 reps to hit their first promotion first week, and you've made $1,000 just on that. Pretty straight up. Pretty straightforward. The higher a rep goes, what do you notice? It starts to drop down. Does anyone know the rationale and why what that structure encourages and emphasizes? More recruiting. The more recruits you have, the higher profit. Okay. So let me give you an example. One summer, I had 2 summers where I can't remember the years, where essentially I shipped the same volume of Cutco. One summer I had a really high productivity where I had less people, but they were selling way more. And then the other summer, I had a lot more recruits, but they didn't sell as much. I made more money the second summer. I didn't have as many high flyers, which, there's good and bad to that. But my net overall income was higher. So how do you kill it? You get both. You get a lot of people selling, and you also get those high flyers, which have been essentially the last 2 or 3 summers for us. Okay. Next, you will average overall, and this is where you can take notes if you'd like. If you have the ability to highlight, you can highlight on a PDF. You put sticky notes if you want, and you can do. That's why I put a PDF so you can do all that stuff. You can typically count the overall range to average between 16 and 19%. So what does that mean? If you take a branch that does 70,000, you can just average it to about 16 to 19%, and that's the range of money you'll make from a revenue standpoint. And let me go backwards. Let me not assume. Okay, and I'll do quickly on the board. I'll take a picture. So revenue equals how much money you earn. Okay. Revenue is how much money you earn. You have to subtract expenses, and that is going to come up with your profit. So really, the name of the game is not how much money you make. What is it? It's profit. So what are you meaning by that, Joe? Well, I can take 2 managers. So let's take PJ, who's really, really good with his money, or good with his expenses. And I have Mr. Spend Frivolous over here, which is Mr. Frivolous over here, like, oh my gosh, yeah, whatever. Do you make the same amount of money on this because they sold them the same? Let's say they both sold 15 grand as branch managers, and they both sold exactly at $50,000 in their office, like to the T. Their profits are different based on how they manage their expenses. Cool. What's really cool, and I'm proud to say this, like, for example, I've had years before the last 3 years where I wasn't shipping more than other top division managers, but I was still up there with net profit income because of how I was able to control expenses. Okay. But also, you have to think of it this way. You can't be so far one way or the other. You can't be just, oh, make money. I don't care about expenses because you don't profit. But you also can't be so tight and say, well, I can't spend. Well, you have to spend money to make money, right? Well, I don't want to do that. Well, then I don't want to spend money on rent for an office. Well, then you have nowhere to run shop. And that's like, sometimes we have people like that. Well, I can't lose money at all. Well, that's part of the business. Just like that would be like saying, well, I don't want to do phone time unless every call picks up and they say yes. Good luck. Okay, you guys get it. Cool. Next, company contribution. So this is where, and maybe I go off for a second. It's just really unreal what the company does. And I think sometimes we're so involved in Cutco, so close to it that we don't really think about it. But if you explain to someone off the street where we said, we're going to take someone between 17, 18 to 22 years old, 23 years old, limited experience, give them a basic fundamental sales and management training program. We're going to give them a territory where they're going to raise anywhere between $3,000 to $10,000 of their own money. And the company is going to support them with $8,500 in additional support at an interest-free rate. It's not a loan. There's no interest. It's just given to them to start up. Most people look at you like you had three heads because that just doesn't exist. And I think, oh, well, yeah, well, if you go out there, I'm just telling you, as a branch manager, that's just not normal. And forget district manager, for those of you that are aspiring district managers. The company pays you $15,000 to start up. They give you a territory. They give you the fundamental training. And the company essentially takes care of everything. You're not really a startup. If you're a branch or district manager, a lot of times they'll say, oh, I'm a startup. You're not really a startup because when you're a startup, you have to figure out everything. You don't have to figure out shipping. Think about things we take for granted by being in Cutco. We don't deal with the shipping. I wouldn't want to deal with the shipping. We don't deal with inventory. It's Illinoisan. We don't deal with warehouse and surplus. We don't deal with accounts receivable. We don't deal with people's payments. Can you imagine? If a customer's credit card defaults or they have a card that got stolen and the number that Cutco has is different, you don't deal with any of that. You deal with one thing and two things, right? Recruiting and getting the product sold. So just food for thought, food for thought. So you get $6,000 startup, and that's once you're approved to get a territory and you get your lease in. And then you also get $2,500 towards what are called mailers. Mailers are letters that are sent out, calculated and systematically through a company based on income and zip code. So what we do is we send letters for the job directly to places we know where students live that are of age and are in a certain type of income household that we would want. It's all calculated for you. The more money you have in startup, the more we can send with the mailers. So if you want to make a little note, the mailers are about 49 cents a pop. Call it 50 cents a pop. So what that means, $2,500 means the company pays for about 5,000 mailers. So depending on your territory, okay, if you have more money in your account, if you have every $500 over 3,000, that's actually the formula. If you want to write it down, every $500 in startup you have over $3,000, you're able to send another 1,000 mailers. And with more mailers, imagine the person with 300 people on their tack list will probably have more appointments than a person with 200. It's the same concept. I'll stop there. Come up for air. Any questions on mailers, company startup, or the commission override? Cool. Next part. Personal commissions. Here's what's really cool. Right now, all of you are making roughly dirty 30 or higher. And then how do you go above 30%? Bonus land, right? What does that mean? So you always make 30 forever. And then at the end of the month, you have to hit the bonus. Anyone know what you have to sell each month to hit bonus? You have to sell $4,000 for the month, which means $1,000 a month, like doing the job. And then you get the extra bonus. So if I'm at 40%, I'm dirty 30 plus 10% at the end of the month. Okay? Here, during May and June, when you don't have a lot of time to sell, by the way, you get a straight up 35% commission. So already it's a 5% increase, better deal on a selling end. So when you do turn in orders, you'd make 5% more than you normally do, and you don't have to wait for bonus. Okay? But this is the kicker, and this is where I would take the note. This is where you make bank. Okay? 50% commission on all personal sales for July, August, and here's the kicker. You also get it in September. And you get straight up 50%, no bonus. First of all, to get to 50%, how much in career sales do you have to have? Does anyone know? $150,000, including your office. Now, most of you haven't run an office yet. The highest person here is Amy in this room. Amy, what's your career sales? 92, okay? So she still has another 60 grand, 58 grand before she gets to half baby, okay? If she were a branch right now at 92 grand, or 92, if she were at 92 grand over July, she wouldn't have to wait for bonus. She just gets 50% straight up every paycheck every week. Ready? That's sick. I know, it's like, whoa, right? Think about this. I had a manager, a TLA candidate said, you know, Jeff, I don't know if I want to branch. I really want to make a lot of money. I think I'm just going to sell. I want to focus on my sales next summer. I said, okay, well, then if money's important to you, you should branch at a high level. You should branch and profit well. What do you mean? Well, it doesn't make sense. I'll even do the math on the board. I think you guys know where I'm going with this. It's actually pretty straightforward math. If I could go backwards here. Okay. If you can't see me, we'll end up taking a picture here. Neil's one of those, right?
Yes, sir.
That's it? Okay. So let's say, well, I'm not, let's say Amy, and this is not Amy because she put a letter in, but, oh, I just want to sell and I'm going to have a sell in summer. Well, how much would you sell for the following summer?
25, 30.
Yeah, this particular TLA member said, well, next summer I want to sell like 40, 50 grand. This rep sold 20 their first summer. So to say I'm just going to automatically sell double and some change is kind of how about this? There's not a lot of evidence for that. But what is there evidence for? Doing the job. Everyone knows that, right? Doing the job 1 or 2 grand a week. So, and I want you to write this down, 8 by 8. The branch opportunity is 8 and 8. It's roughly 6 to 8 weeks of building an office and making money off of the sales from your reps and management and building the team from scratch and learning the entrepreneurial spirit. And then the other 8 weeks are you personally selling with the team that you have. Or if you have no team, and some branches don't do a good job at all. If they do a terrible job here, they're by themselves. But here's what they know how to do, sell. So you get 8 weeks here, 8 weeks here, and these 8 weeks are at 50%, which is killer. So let me give you an idea. Let's take I just want to sell. This is funny. So roughly, how many of you sold over 30 grand this summer? 1. Okay, how many of you sold between 20 and 30 this summer? Okay, a third. And how many of you sold between 10 and 20? Majority, okay, 10 plus. So let's just say next summer you sold 20 grand. I'll be nice. You say you sell 25 grand. And you're 30-30. What's that? 75 at 30%. I'm a numbers guy, because numbers don't lie. That's $7,500 in income at 30-30. And of course, plus any bonus that you hit. Cool. And if I'm a branch manager, I've got 8 weeks to run an office and make the stuff I'm talking about. But you also have 8 weeks of just straight up selling. Plus, do you know that you sell more on average these 8 weeks than a normal rep who's never run an office? Who knows why? One really was. You just coached 8 weeks for 8 weeks. You just recruited and trained reps over and over and over and over and over again. Okay. So let's say just for these 8 weeks of selling, what's a pretty conservative weekly ship up for someone who's TLA trained whole year and has managed reps? A week, and not push week. I mean like a week.
1,500.
1,500. I would agree. So 1,500. What's that? So that's 8. That's 12. It's roughly 13K. At what percentage?
50.
So let's call it 7 grand there. You've already made the same amount on average. That's just 1,500 a week. No, not including an SC2 push, not including the CLC push. That's just bare minimum 1,500. Raise your hand if you feel confident that you could sell around 1,000 to 1,500. Pretty straightforward a week. Yeah. So I'm saying no higher sales. Amy's going, please, child, please. So at 7. Now, what's the high end? 3 grand, 2 to 3 grand a week, right?
Yeah.
So 3 grand a week times 8 is 24. 24 divided in half is 12. So right away, you're talking 7 to 12 grand just on selling, plus whatever your office sells, and we're going to do the math on 6 different scenarios. And even if you're just not even good, $30,000. What do you mean? Yeah, there are offices where Amy sold more personally than some offices combined times 2. And that happens, by the way. It's a real business. And I'm not knocking those branches because we had a couple on our division. In fact, it's a great experience. In fact, most of them are doing it again to learn, which I love. 30%, what's the average range we set on the commission overrun? What percentage? Between 16 to 19. I'll take the lowest possible. In fact, I'll just do 15 for easy math. What's 15% of 30? It's $12,000, right? Is that right? Did I do that right? Honey, I'm sorry, 4,500, my bad. So 4,500 plus 7 grand. So I'm just going to add up the math. You're looking at 11 to $16,000 from a competitive standpoint. You're like you're the caboose of the region. Selling 1,500 to 3 grand. No awards. You're not winning any push week trophies, and you're making you're making 11 to 16 grand versus, but I really just want to sell and make money. So if you really want to sell and make money, do you take $1,000 given to you or do you take $10 given to you? Hello?
$1,000.
You take 1,000. Do you take less money to make or more money to make when you can choose?
More.
You always take more. Why do I say like that? Because this rep, this not TLA member, was convinced, and you're watching this right now, you know who you are, was convinced that I want to sell and make my, even if you made 0 on this, you're still making 7 to 12 and you have a better resume. I know physically you can't understand what the hell I wrote. However, do you understand what I was saying? That's all I need. Stop there. If there are any light bulbs, now would be a good time to write. So far, so good? When I hear, I just want to sell to make money, what I'm hearing is I'm not keeping up with my end of training. That's what I hear. And that's okay. That's okay. Because some people haven't met what they were supposed to yet. That scared the hell out of me. Whatever that was. Okay. Last thing. So you get 50% commission. Okay. And then, of course, one of my favorite parts is your summer office sales count towards your career sales. So, Amy, just let's say you sold not a single dollar of Cutco from now until the summer, which we know won't happen. You would probably hit FSM just from your office alone next summer, right? So, but if my branch does 75 grand, that's not a lot from a competitive standpoint. Add 75 to my personal career sales, that's going to be my total career sales.
So you're at 50.
So then I would be at 50% of that sum. Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then branches, returning branches. Zach Shakta is in this case. Amanda Swanson is in this case. A lot of returning branches. You get an extra $1,500 on top of your startup. Okay. And you also get a 1% cut. When override, we call it, instead of a branch, we call those twigs. Get it? You guys get it? So, for example, when Dalila went branch, when she went branch again, she got 1% off of Amanda Swanson's branch because that's a branch from her office. So that's an extra, and I think Amanda did just shy of between 70 and 100, I believe. I don't remember the number, 50 to 100, somewhere in that range. So she made an extra 5 to whatever the 1% is. Cool. Any questions? Pretty sweet. So that's how you make money. Over here, we're gonna cover this again for those of you that get in office, but these are the expenses. Okay, these are the expenses. So what do I mean by that? Technically, and what I always like to, and it sounds like, Jeff, you're just changing the name, but I like to view it. I always cross it out. I always write down investments. Investments. Some people would view your tuition here at, the land of gains.
Oh my God.
Some people would say, oh, well, school is just a scam. Like I've heard that. I've heard both sides. But for some people, it's an investment, not an expense. Here, these are all things that help to fuel and run your business, from rent, utilities, Craigslist. What I'm going to do in a few weeks, for those of you that get a branch, I'm going to go through each one and explain which one is paid up front and which ones are paid just throughout the summer. And you can make a note. The majority of these are not paid up front. Meaning, if you look at the bottom, it says between $14,450 to $24,000. That's over the full summer. The only thing that's paid up front, right, is the initial rent to get in and start up. But for the most part, a lot of these are paid out throughout the summer. Okay. So extremely cheap is like 14. In fact, there's some offices in Florida and in Puerto Rico, we get it down to like $10,000 to $12,000 in expenses because it's just a lower cost of living. For example, I live in my downtown Miami compared to Port, which used an example, or Port Charlotte, Florida, right? Naples is way more expensive, high income community versus a Pensacola, Florida, which is like a beach town. So just cost of living. Some people say, I really want to go to the big city markets. Well, it costs more money to run it. My office alone costs about $150,000 plus just to run my office. All right, so just food for thought. We get expenses down as low as 10 to 15, all the way up to 24. But on average, you can make a note. The average is 17 to 21,000 throughout the summer. Okay. And then what you can do on your own is essentially just take a look at the pay models. This is really straightforward. This is for branch. Here, district, you guys already got the district pay, so it's this like on steroids, right? Okay, well, we can, and I'll review those later. So branches. Let's say you sold $40,000 in sales. Again, that branch is not winning a single trophy probably for the summer, unless it's personal sales. And that branch is probably not going to be on the reports much. That branch is not going to be a superstar giving talks at conferences, but they're building a business from scratch to generate $40,000 in revenue. And let's say they sold $12,000. The reason I said 12, I find that the lower the office sales, the higher the personal sales opportunity. Ideally, both are high, but why is it that when the office sales are lower, that the personal sales would probably be projected to be higher? Anyone? First years, who wants to take a guess? Go ahead.
There's not that many people to manage.
Yeah, there's not as many people to manage, so you have more time to sell. Okay? And 12 grand isn't breaking any records either. In fact, you're averaging $1,100 a week for 8 weeks. So you're doing the job once a week. Okay? You take the commission I told you, the startup, the mailer support, the average of contests that we give out, just a small, it's a rough average. The commission's flat 50. You get a total gross income of $22,400. You take out the range of expenses, you're looking at a $5,000 to just shy of $8,000 income. So take a look, process this, you understand, and I'll stop there, come up for any questions. It's pretty straightforward. No questions? Any virtual questions? If you have a question, just yell it out.
Why is the base commission at
Okay, good question. So Skylar's asking, why is the base commission at 19%? What was the range we told you? 16 to 19, okay? Remember, when they're lower in sales, you make more. So when you have a low office like that, you probably have a lot of reps that didn't sell that much. So you're making on the higher end. If it's a high, you'll see the higher the CPO on the office, the lower on the percentage. So good question. The bottom part I want you to take a really close look at, okay? I had a parent one time that called me, and without saying it directly the way they said it, shame on you, Jeff. None of your parents, not this year, just 1 year ahead. Shame on you. Like, me? Shame on me? I didn't say it that way, but oh, shame on what? Shame on you. You just are trying to get my daughter or son to run an office so you make money. Well, first of all, that is true. I do make money off of you when you sell a lot. It's called enterprise. It's called America. However, I'm just saying, I didn't say it that way. Right? Okay. Right. I had the same parents said, well, you're just one of those companies where the higher up, the more money you make. I said, yeah. Okay, yes, you're right. Okay. But I let them say, you're just trying to get them out because you probably make a bonus and make money. And so I understand that concern. And the older I get, I really now look back. I was a younger manager and I probably had some choice words in my head. I didn't say it. But I really empathize from a protective parent standpoint. What they were trying to say is, you're probably not have any interest in how well my son or daughter does. And if they do lose money, yeah, it's a real business, but you don't care because you make money. But here's the catch. We do care because it affects our money too. Okay, at the very bottom, it's a safety net. A safety net, 1% from DM and 0.5% from DVM withheld to support the lowest selling BM. Here's what I mean. There is a percentage that your district manager and I make off of all of you that branch. So I'm going to use Hasagawa here as an example. Andrew Evans is your original manager. He makes a roughly 5% off of your total sales. Okay, I make, as your division manager, 3% off your total sales. Okay, however, a total of 1.5% to 2% of our pay is not given to us and it's put into a withholding the whole summer. We can't even touch it. Okay, at the end of the summer, if you have bills you can't cover, we lose that money. It goes to your bills. It might not cover all of it, by the way, but meaning Andrew's on the hook, I'm on the hook for your success. So I explained that, and there was apologies later, like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know it was like that. But I understood, but I just want you to know that we're also in this with you. It's not just, okay, you sell, you do well, we do well, but if you don't, we do. We don't do well if you don't do well. We have a vested interest, okay? Any food for thought? Questions, comments? Cool. And these last few I'm just gonna breeze through. So take a look at the models. They go higher in office sales and a little bit lower in personal sales because, like Skylar said, you have more reps to manage. So in a $70,000 office, this was I think this was Amanda Swanson. This was a solid bit, and I'll show you later on that our branch average went down this past summer because we didn't have the same amount of PR calling, and our managers didn't hit the same PR calling number. But if we just go back to what we did 2 years ago, we'll hit these numbers, same average. Okay. This was the branch average that we're projecting to be at this upcoming summer. Between 60 to 80 is the projected branch average. Conservatively, we'll call it 60 to 75,000. So you take a look, the profit's 8,500 to 10,500. But what also can fluctuate? What is being projected here, but could be way higher? Personal sales, yeah. So for me, when I went branch, I loved it. I said, oh, okay, well, even if I bomb it, I'll sell 40 grand this summer. I'll sell 30. I mean, I had sold 70 the summer before. I can sell half of that or a quarter of that. And then it goes higher from there. 100K in office sales, 10K in personal, yields 12 to 14. You can follow along. 125 and 8,000. This is Jeremy Williams, roughly. So he profited anywhere between 13 to 15. This is a $150,000 office. This would have been one of the top 30 in the company. Okay. Lower sales because you only have the chance to sell about $1,000 a week. And keep in mind, those 8 weeks of personal selling are during SC2 push. So it's already high intense, something you're used to, like meaning it should be higher, but conservatively, 14 to 16,000. Okay. And here's what's interesting. I'll go back. This is roughly what Grant Strayer did this past summer in Naples. Okay. And he profited about 18,000 this past summer. And why was that? How come it wasn't the same number? How come his was higher? Well, he was able to get his expenses a little bit lower. Or either that or his personal sales were higher, one of the mix. Okay. And then this is a little higher than what Eric Palacio did. Okay, so Eric, I think profited just shy of 30,000 or just about or just shy of 30,000 this past summer. Cool. So I'll stop there for a second. Questions or comments? Questions or comments? What are some light bulbs right now? I want you to write down a couple light bulbs just from this part. I mean, I have another fraction of the message left. And a sneeze or a cough? Okay. God bless you, cough.
You continue like a territory running even though it's the second week.
Okay, so the great question I get every year. I'm glad you're asking. Question is, if I'm a branch manager, but I don't want to close down. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, we call it a district manager. So here's what happened all the time. No, every year we have branch managers that open up and they go, for whatever reason, school's not for them. They're doing so well. They're willing to put school off a little bit. There's momentum, or they just like it. Many reasons. There are branch managers who will get a fall September promotion. So they started as a branch, they liked it, and they ended up opening, and then their pay structure turned into the district structure. So the BMW number starts, the extra DM bonus structure start in September. Okay. But that leads to the question, well, why would they do that? Sometimes do people want to branch to see what they like about district? Well, not really, because it's way different. These are for people who just didn't have any intent of being a district, but for whatever happened, whatever reason. But if you're someone who you could be a district and you're not sure, right? You just go district. Why? Because financially, it's a completely different universe. And give it a shot, right? And that's your potential position. That's your position for sure. That's you're in your situation right now. Like you could be a branch, you could be a branch, you could technically be a branch, but why would you give up a $30,000 to $60,000+ swing, a BMW, and extra bonus? You would. It's not a smart financial move. Okay, good. Any other questions? How about takeaways from Virtual Land? No. Hey, Macarena. No? You know that song?
No.
Okay, all your moms know that song. Alejandra, go ahead.
I think just the fact that you have to spend money to make money and you can't be too conservative. Like obviously you can't like spend too much, but yeah, just you have to spend money to make money.
There's a balance. You're right, Alejandra. There's a balance. And think of it this way. You guys have watched all these shows recently, like Shark Tank. You guys see Shark Tank? They're looking for startup. That's what it is. And does anyone really watch Shark Tank? Okay. Does anyone know what the types of numbers they're asking for? Like, what are they asking Mark Cuban for? How much at a time? Like sometimes 250, sometimes $1 million, and then sometimes percentage stake in the company. Ready? This is an example of how you manage things when the numbers are small is how they'll be when they are later. Okay, so if you're doing the big three for your finances, and Jeff, it's only $150, who cares? When you add 4 zeros to that 150, what you do when it's 150 will be what you do when it's 150 plus 4 zeros. That's all we're trying to get you to do is understand how to get these habits done right early. Okay, cool, good questions. Let's go back. 8 by 8. So the first part of branch here, and I want to be very upfront. It's 10, 80, 10. Okay, 10% of branches absolutely bomb, like not good bomb, like bad, like papa poo poo caca mierda bomb. Okay, all the white people are like, what does that mean, right? Like bad profit, no recruits, nothing. But the second 8 is in their control, and it means they're profitable. Okay, I'm really proud that 2 years ago, we had branches that sold less than $25,000 for the whole summer with their office. Okay, it's bad, but they're all profitable, and it was awesome because they all picked up the kid and really knew how to sell. Okay, and they got pissed off about it, retrained harder, and then got better the following summer. So that's part of it. Okay, big part of it is personal recruits. So I want to go to this next slide, and we'll take a quick break pretty soon here. So this is from the first prep. This is the power of personal recruiting. This is an office. Take a look at the first column. It's 2015 through 18. This is the same territory 4 years in a row. It sold 125, which profited, I don't know, what's that? That's a 5 to 8, 5 to 10, plus 8 to 12 grand profit. The next summer it sold 241, which is technically almost a 30 to 40 grand profit, I believe. 2017 it sold 40, and this past summer it only did 13 grand total. Okay, what's the difference? What's the direct correlator there? It's how many PRs they got. So here's what's really cool. All of you here that run a branch will have at least one person helping you make calls, and they will be your recruiting assistant. AKA, you can call them receptionists, but we don't really call them receptionists anymore. If you're a new district manager, you'll have probably 1 to 2. If you're an experienced manager, you'll have 2 to 3. And if you're the pilot, you'll have 3 to 4 to 5. Okay, but the difference is PRs. Look at how many PRs were launched. And it's no wonder the highest recruiting summer yielded the highest sales volume. And this is a really cool report. This is this past summer, all the branch managers, and I'll add this to your report. No, this is in your file. These are all the branch managers for the region. This is actually districts and pilots. Look at closely here at the top offices in the entire region. This is a new business for the summer. Okay, you see Trey Ketchum at 820. Andrew and the Metro Miami team at 685. We were at 587. So we had a lower new business summer than the previous. But what do you notice about the big, we'll say from anything over 500 is considered a really big summer. So from Jeff Gamble, Luke Maseko up. Look at the personal PR set. And look at the total PR set. Look at the pilot in Fort Lauderdale, 2,080 PR set. Okay, if you go up, Trey Ketchum 1,500. And look at how many PRs launched. We all launched 100 up to 200. We launched between 100 and 200 PRs. And the average PR sells between 3 and 5 grand. So 200 PRs in the pilot times 3 grand is how much? 2 times 3 is what? 6. So roughly 600 grand. We sold about 600 grand. It's really stupid. The math works out every time. Okay. Now let's go to the branches. This is really interesting. These are the people at the bottom you can take a look at. Look at the branches. Okay, so you got Eric Palacio, highest in sales, 160. I apologize, 160. But notice, look, his total PR set is 400. Look at Jeremiah Williams, number 3, 450. The key is they all launched roughly 25 plus PRs, and Eric launched almost 50 PRs in Aventura. Okay, and here's a common denominator. Any branch that hit the 50K mark or higher, they all launched about 20 to 25 PRs or more at the end. And the ones that really killed it, and by killed it, I mean like nationally ranked, which was Jeremiah and above, they all set between 200 to 400. And this is a little bit advanced, and next level, this is not advanced. This is every freaking meeting we talk about. You're setting 20 to 40 a week for 8 weeks. So I would put that formula in your notes. As a branch manager, personally, forget receptionist. For you personally, when it's those 8 weeks of recruiting, it's 20 to 40 a week for 8 weeks. So what's that total? So 20 to 40, you can do the math, right? You can write that 20 to 40 a week. 160 to 320. So ready? I'll make it really easy math. A branch manager wants to be successful. They personally have to make sure they have 200 to 300 PR set for the summer during those 8 weeks. And we're going to show you a schedule where you get that done every week. Question is, will you put it together? Okay. Any questions? Awesome. Okay. So let me skip around. We don't need to do bank accounts. But let me at least show you the pictures so you know what we're going to talk about. For those of you that get selected for an office, we're going to teach you how to create a completely different business, separate business account. So you have things running through a business and also your personal checking. Okay, and that's a picture of how it'll be set up. It's pretty straightforward. Okay. One thing, next level group. I'm not going to make this a hard assignment, but you might as well do it if you haven't. I would get a second checking account, and you might not touch it until the summer, but I would get a second checking account. And ready? Do not get a business account. Just get another personal checking account. Does anyone know, and anyone into banking, and as to why? Not you. You know. You ran a ranch. Does anyone know why I want you to get a personal account and not a business account, even though you're running a business? That's more advanced than yes. Yes, that's more advanced, but that's not my answer. You're right.
Student accounts don't charge.
Student accounts don't charge you fees.
Ah.
Yeah. Like I have a.
I didn't know that.
So I've got, watch, just not my credit card. This is my business card. So this is my personal. I probably should. It looks kind of ghetto, but it helps me identify. It helps me identify. This is my personal check card. So when I swipe this, it's direct money coming right out of my personal account. And this is my business. It even says Business Bank of America. It has the name of Florida Caribbean Division Incorporated. That's my business.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty fancy, right?
Yeah, I like it.
Got that?
Wow.
But watch, if I don't have at least $3,000 in this account, I get charged penalties.
Oh.
Right? So as a student, you don't want that.
Okay.
So I'd rather have this one. This is zero. Like I don't have to keep, as long as it's not under zero, right? I never have it that low, but I would never get charged below a certain minimum. Okay. Any questions on that? Cool. Last few things before we go to break. Monthly budget. Now I know for a fact some of you killed it, and I love looking at your budgets. And I know for a fact some of you kind of threw some BS numbers on a Excel sheet and turned it in, and that's okay because it happens every year. But this is going to separate, this habits will separate you from the high profit managers and the low profit managers. I have managers all the time that ship a lot of volume. They win trophies. They're doing great. But at the end of the summer, they go, well, the document you said, Jeff, has me making this, but I don't have that money in my account anywhere. It's because their expenses weren't on point. Okay? So I could tell you story after story, but I could also tell you story after story of people like one of my financial mentors who's ex-Cutco. He was never, in fact, you wouldn't even know his name, Adam Stock, unless you knew about actual Rising Stock program, right? If you ran an office. But he was a very, very mediocre shipping manager. But he made a lot of money because he was really good with his finances. So for me, the ideal world is you're good at both, right? Like Andrew, you sell a lot and you're also good at saving a lot. That's how you accelerate your wealth forward. So this, I'll just say, before we do a debrief, make sure you really do this for yourself. And as a branch manager, you don't have a choice. I'm going to make sure you do this. And in fact, we hire and pay a service to do this for you. But tracking your expenses, I don't know a single real business and profitable business that doesn't have accounting, that doesn't have goals and doesn't have a budget. Like if you went to Smoothie King, I just for some reason thought of Smoothie King this morning, right? Smoothie King is one of the top 10 most profitable, most popular franchises in the country, if you didn't know that. It's weird. I don't know why. Still, to this day, 10 years later after I saw the initial report. So Smoothie King is really popular because for the amount that it costs to open and the profit, it's pretty good. But I can't imagine saying, oh, so tell me, oh, Mr. Schachter, you own a Smoothie King. Cool. So how did you guys report for the second quarter? What do you mean? What were your profits and, what were your expenses? Oh, I don't know. You can do that. You'll be out of business pretty soon. Okay. So really important. I'll stop there, come up for air. Any takeaways or light bulbs from having gone through the expenses? What are some things that you didn't realize that you liked? What are some things you realized you didn't like? What are some things you just learned about when you put these monthly budgets and expenses together? I'll start there. Mila.
How easy it is to spend so much money on food.
Yeah, food's the number one. Food is the branch profit killer. Food is the branch profit killer. And if you notice, every session we talk about money in some way, shape, or form, or how to think about money. Bigger paycheck doesn't mean spend more. Bigger paycheck just means you have a bigger paycheck. If you budget. Right? So ready? I just had a 20 grand push, even though I've been normally selling $1,000 every week, but I just had a 20 grand 2-week push. Ready? Oh, I'm balling out tonight. Drinks on me. We're going to a nice dinner. Well, you wouldn't have done any of those things on your $1,000 a week income If you're on a budget, you don't increase. And if you want to ball out, go out, do the things that you won't normally do, it's in the budget. It's part of the celebration budget or the miscellaneous budget. Right? I mean, like even Heidi and I, like between Heidi and I, and you know she's a doctor, right? So we're not struggling. Okay, between our two income, I mean, we probably don't even ever have to look at a budget if we were looking to go out, unless we're looking to go to one of those exclusive New York restaurants that are $1,000 a plate, and you know Brad Pitt's next to us. But we don't eat at those places. Right? I don't have to. We technically probably wouldn't have to say, oh well, should we eat here or not? But there are times where Heidi will go, you know, we went over. Let's eat in tonight. As a doctor, as the division manager. But ready? That's what allows us to have lots of savings and lots of things we want to do. And when we want to do a trip, like our honeymoon is exactly where we want. It's in Turks and Caicos. It's the Cutco of the Caribbean, by the way, so you know.
Yes.
And our house is the house where you open up the door and the front of the door is the beach in the private part of the ocean, like that. But we don't have to hesitate because of decisions like, you know, why don't we cook in instead of going to blank and going to Wynwood again for dinner, which I love, by the way, in Midtown. Cool. All right. Any other takeaways? This is good. Go ahead.
Just for me, it's kind of make it easier for me to track like my business expenses, like the amount of fruit money I spend on fruit stuff for demos and things like that. Just having it all in one row is making it a lot easier.
Yeah,
it's gonna help when I do
and
taxes.
the sooner you get on it now, here's what happens. That muscle, that budgeting muscle, you're starting to work it. So when you have more things thrown on it, it's not overwhelming. You're just increasing a little bit. It's like I work out consistently and then I'm going to go up in weight versus I don't work out and then I'm going to try and bench something that's really not right and I'm going to get hurt. It's the same concept. Okay. Any other takeaways from budgeting? Yeah.
You start off with small numbers. You're gonna be able to do it with big numbers as well. You're used to it.
Yeah. We're just teaching you how to handle like more zeros later. Okay. Here's what I want to cover, and we'll end with this because this is fun, and we'll actually end the prep with this.
Oh,
Cool.
wow. Wait, Jeff.
I'm gonna skip drill for skill this week. Okay. Don't complain. This is where you go like this.
Keep going.
Okay, ready?
Pretty cool.
I think we'll get out 2 hours early. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Let me preface. I was asked to try and get out early by a lot of the managers, and with the Tallahassee debacle with the hurricane / a little bit more commute than I expected for some of you guys. I want to get you guys back home safe, okay? And I think you'd appreciate getting out early. Me too. Membership rewards. So can I get your full energy for 30 minutes then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
New notes. Membership rewards. When you understand how to do this, and it doesn't take a lot of effort, when you understand membership rewards, here's some cool things that I want to share, some examples of what happens in your life. Like, Heidi and I don't live in our hometowns anymore. She's from North Dakota, and I'm from Baltimore. Right? You guys, everyone knows I love Baltimore. And Thanksgiving and Christmas, we always try to go home or take a trip. And there's always a flight involved. Now, for 2 of us, because as we get married and before we were traveling, she used to live in Delaware, so every Thanksgiving and Christmas I'm up there. Now it's 2 flights. Well, because of this, every holiday flight, and you know what happens to holiday prices, every holiday flight for Thanksgiving and Christmas has been completely free for I don't know how many years now for me. And now even with 2 of us, we don't pay. I pay like $22 in tax or like service fees for a trip from Miami to Baltimore during Christmas holiday.
That's stupid.
Because I'm just using membership rewards. Okay? It's the same reason, and we're gonna come back to credit cards the next prep. It's the same reason we don't in United we don't swipe credit cards to delay payment. We swipe credit cards that we already have the money for, but we're trying to get points from it. Okay, I'll use a college example. There's membership rewards at Chipotle. Okay, I can either pay with my credit card, and Chipotle doesn't know I get a star or a burrito for the buy 10 and get 1 free. I can either just use my debit card, and I'm not getting anything free. Or whenever I buy a burrito, I'm going to use that card and pay it off, and I'll get the free burrito. That's the same. It's the same concept, except with way more money. Okay. So for example, like our honeymoon, like one of the expenses in our honeymoon is about $4,000. I could just pay it, or we could use her. What do we use? We use Heidi's travel card. So Heidi's American Express Platinum, which has all these awesome perks for traveling. So instead of me just paying $4,000 out of my account, she's going to swipe her American Express for $4,000, which we will pay off in full. but she's going to get $4,000 worth of whatever points she gets from that credit card, which on that one is another flight. You guys see that? So that's how we've always operated. And for some, like, let me give you an example. Heidi used credit card debt, and she doesn't mind me sharing this. She used credit cards to survive through college, not the Florida United Cutco way, but the way I don't like, the way where I swipe it so I don't have to pay later. Okay? There's something called interest that I hate, and interest kills you. And we were figuring that it was coming out to about $6,000 to $7,000 a year in interest she was paying. So the moment we combined our finances, right? I just took a check and I paid off all of our credit cards in one. I just said, we're not doing that. So I just paid off all our credit cards in full because I don't like to see $7 or $8 grand. That could have, I mean, I said I could buy 5 suits with that. We could go on a cool vacation. I don't want to give that to Visa or whatever, Chase. So like that's how much I've learned to hate interest on credit cards. So when we swipe, here's the thing I want you to get used to, and you've heard this a lot, but it hasn't registered. When we swipe a card, we have the money for it. We're just trying to take advantage of the card benefits. You guys see that? If you don't have the money for it, shouldn't be swiping. Okay? And I know not all of you are at that place yet, but we're working on that. So membership rewards. This is really cool. Pretty straightforward. Let me give you another example. When I checked into the Marriott Hotel, the AC Marriott Hotel, Marriott has Marriott Rewards. Okay, and then there's another one called Starwood Preferred Guest, SPG. There's another one called Hyatt Gold or Hyatt Rewards. Those are the big 3. Okay, so when I checked in, oh, Mr. Gamboa, thank you for being a loyal member. We've complimentary upgraded your room to the better room. Oh, thanks. Right? Didn't do anything. The only thing I did is every time I stay at one of those hotels, I give them the number for the rewards number. It just takes effort. So in my phone, I have every airline that I'm a member of, every hotel group I'm a member of, anything that has a code, and I have the code saved. Some of them I have memorized. I have American Airlines, I have Southwest Airlines, I have Starwood Preferred Guests like memorized. I could just spit it out because I use it so much. But for example, JetBlue, if I'm booking a flight on JetBlue, I never really fly it. I have a JetBlue account number. I'll always put my reward number in. And it stacks up and it builds and builds and builds. Here's another example. When I fly now with American Airlines and I fly between American and Southwest, I have so many points that randomly, and if I want to, I can just upgrade to first class. So let's say my ticket here costs about $300 to $400. It's expensive to come to Gainesville. It's not a big airport. Okay. To go to Baltimore, let's say on a round trip, American Airlines, it's about $300, let's say. A first class ticket from here to Baltimore is like $1,500. Like from Miami to Baltimore on a $300 fare, normal economy, a first class fare for the same flight is roughly 5 times the amount. But because of my points, I'll pay the $300, and then my points will say, oh, you are eligible for an upgrade. I'll go to first class and sit in first class, and I only paid $300 for the normal seat. It happens every other flight. One in every 5 flights for me. And in the Caribbean, like coming back from Cancun, I flew first class, and I just added my points, and I bumped Heidi up to first class. So we were sipping on the champagne. Right? Our honeymoon, same thing. I'm just going to throw points at it, and I don't have to pay. Our flight round trip from Miami to Turks and Caicos, I think, is $350 each round trip, $700 total. Okay, but the ticket fare, if I bought the first class, would be paying $3 grand. And I don't do anything but what I'm going to teach you. And I just started when I was in Cutco. I started when I was a manager. Okay, so start now. You'll get way more. Anyone excited about some of this stuff? Yeah. So upgrades to flights, upgrades in hotels, status. When I stayed at SPG Hotel, I get on the SPG floor. So there's a floor for SPG, and there's a lounge with free booze, free food, free breakfast, everything. If you're not on that floor, you have to go down and pay for everything. I can keep going. It's killer. Okay? So, airlines, hotels, and stores. So let me give you the examples of what I have signed up for. And your assignment's pretty easy. Just take an hour of your time or break it up over 2 30-minute periods. And I want you to register for all of these airlines, hotels, and stores. Easy. Whatever rewards. And just look up rewards, and they have them all. They all have different names. Let me give you one more example, my favorite example. So I'm registered with the Cosmopolitan Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada. Right? So I did my bachelor party there. We did a golf trip. Golf, casino, fun. I mean, it was awesome. We golfed a lot, like Sorry, too much. I'm tired. Because of the business I brought out there and the points, I just got a little certificate in the mail. So Mr. Gamble would love to have you back in Vegas for 4 to 5 nights for free on us.
Are you kidding?
And if you know the Cosmo, it's the hottest hotel. You're too young, some of you, to know that, but Cosmo's like, that's where Cosmopolitan Hotel in Las Vegas.
You got a friend staying there.
Yeah, it's amazing. Okay, so I just got Rebecca 5 nights free from membership rewards. Okay, 4 or 5 nights.
Stupid.
So ready? So here's what you do. Airlines, ready? So notes on airlines. American Airlines.
Yeah.
And I don't fly them. It doesn't matter. Still sign up. Because ready? When you go on Cutco trips, this is the beauty. Cutco travel and culture is normal. Branches, there's sometimes we fly you automatically. You don't pay for the flight for region conferences. You go to Cancun. Amy, did you fly Delta or American? Do you remember?
American.
Were you Delta?
Oh wait, it was Delta.
Was it? Okay, American. Watch. Yeah, but see, this is my point. You guys don't even pay attention. You guys, most of you, not everyone, you guys probably don't fly enough to even pay attention. You just get on the flight. I want you to pay attention to this. So American, if the region books me on a flight, okay, I'll put my rewards number when I check in, and I'll get credit for that flight and all the miles. So for example, I get flown to region kickoff, begin the summer. I get flown to fall kickoff to Atlanta. I get flown to SLC. This year was in LA. I get flown to the trip in February. I get flown to the national trip to Paris 2 years from now in Grand Cayman. I get 5 to 6 flights where I'm not paying for it. But because of this, I get all the points as if I were. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So Vector alone, doing that with this gives me probably between 3 and 5 flights a year. Doesn't even include like the points I get from swiping my credit card to pay for the office stuff. Cool? That's why when you have credit cards for your office, you only swipe if what? You have the money and you have a card that gives you rewards. So American, Delta, and Southwest are the big 3 right now, but I'll give you a couple more. American, Delta, Southwest. American is called Advantage. I just know this, I'll tell you. American Advantage number, like a rewards. American Advantage. Delta is called Sky Miles. Southwest is called A-List. Rapid Rewards. Sorry, I'm A-List. Right? Rapid Rewards. Soon to be companion, if you know what that means. Okay? I buy a flight, I get a free one. Anyway. So watch. Southwest, Delta, American. Add United. United. Okay. Oh, Florida United, yes. Add United. And right now, and JetBlue, because it does a lot of Caribbean, and we're, Florida Caribbean, Florida United. Those are the 5. Now, there are other airlines. I just don't, like Virgin Air is pretty popular, but I never really fly them. I have a number for them just in case. Because ready, the points never expire. That's why. So even in 5 years, I never fly American. Now here's a little extra tip. If I know the region is already paying for my flights, they already know the region has a budget for every flight. They already know I always want to stay with one airline, which just racks up. So instead of going to kickoff with Delta and then summer trip with American, they know I always want American Airlines because the hub's in Miami. And if they don't have that hub, I always want Southwest because it's Fort Lauderdale. So my points just rack up. So I'm really high on the list with American. And like with American, another thing, I don't wait in line security. There's a special line where I check in. It's easier, and I don't pay for bags because I'm priority. My bags are free. You guys pay $25, $35, and $50 a bag. I'm 0 and 25. Southwest, 2 bags for free. I board before everyone. I get free internet, and I get free drinks all the time. Like stuff like that, easy. And I don't really do anything other than plug a number in. I'd like to think it's because of me. It's not. It's a number, right? Go ahead.
If our parents have these rewards,
get your own number and plug.
Right.
Yeah,
is it
you
like
can't.
A family thing type
You can't really transfer. A lot of times you can't transfer points.
So let's say my dad buys me a ticket to go to Europe or something. I can use those.
Yeah, use your number for the rapid rewards. Yeah. Cool. Okay, and ready? You can either put those rewards when you buy the flight. There's a section for it, or when you check into the airport, make sure you put in and let the ticket attend. Let's say Naomi's checking me in. Actually, I have a rapid reward number. Can I please put that in case you didn't put it in the kiosk? Okay, so that's airlines. Ready? Hotels. Let me give you the big ones in hotels. There's SPG, which stands for Starwood Preferred Guest. That's like the bougie on the higher end. That's like Westin, W, St. Regis. Starwood Preferred Guest. Okay. Marriott, which just merged with Starwood Preferred Guest. Marriott. A lot of your parents do this, by the way. They don't even realize it. Marriott, Starwood Preferred Guests. There's a group, I think it's called IHG or IGH. IHG. Oh, it's International Hotel Group, right? IHG. It's like Holiday Inn. And like Crown Plaza. And the last one is Hyatt. Those are the big four. Now they have a lot of other smaller ones, and to be honest, I'm not registered with those, but those are the big four. Hyatt, IHG, because we do meetings. Remember we did Embassy Suites for COC? Okay. You guys know that you guys paid to stay in your rooms, right? This is you like this one. So the amount of rooms that got charged, I prepaid them. So for example, if I take all the charge, you guys are going to charge about $99 to go to COC. Okay. So I got about $10,000 from all of you to pay off the bill. The bill for just the hotel was about 10 grand. I got 10 grand. So how much did it cost me? Zero, but I got $10,000 from points. So I just got an email the other day, a couple months ago, and I can pretty much go to any Crown Plaza and get the baller VIP suite for free right now because of all those points. Now, ready? Was I going to run a COC as a division manager anyway? Right, meaning I was going to swipe the card no matter what. But now, not only did I get the swipe, I got all these points from the hotel. My credit card rewards got the swipe on $10,000. Even though you guys pay me back, my credit card got the swipe 10,000 points. See how it works? So you use your points. Okay, cool, great. Last one is our stores. Now, ready? I do it for, I go a range here. So for example, anyone who's from Miami, you guys been to Midtown? You guys been to Salty Donut?
Oh my gosh.
You need to for your life. Okay,
So
seriously.
good.
They have a star reward program where every time you can type your number or they text you something, then every time you get 5, you get 1 for free. You get like Chipotle, Snowballs. You guys have seen that before. I sign up for all of those because free is free, right? But I don't keep up with that. That to me, that's just an indicator of not being organized or lazy. Like, oh, how many of you have friends where I don't even bother with that. It's just I have to keep a track. Like, keep a track of it. Because if you can do it for Chipotle or Wynwood, what's it called, Salty Donut, you'll do it for these things too. So I have all the stores that have loyalty programs. Hey, I always ask, hey, do you have a loyalty program? And I always get a card. And I keep it in my backpack. My wallet won't fit at all. This is my passport case. With all my rewards. Right? It's just free stuff everywhere. And then these are all my free drink tickets for cocktail. I mean, I get a lot of them and I don't drink on the plane, so I'm just giving them out to people. But I get free Southwest. These are called free drinks on us. I get an envelope with 8 of these every month. They just rack up and rack up and rack up. And so if I see a couple on their honeymoon, I buy all their drinks. If I see an old couple, I buy all their drinks just for fun. Okay. Right? Got it? And it's my passport, of course. I always carry my passport because you never know. Seriously, I always carry that. Remind me tonight to tell you why I do that.
Okay.
No, it's just it was a tip. Talked to me a long time ago. Other stores, Target, I think, has a reward program. Best Buy has a Target. Like all of those programs. Oh, for sure. Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yeah,
I crush it at Dick's Sporting Goods with golf, especially with golf. Okay. So it is worth your time to take 30 minutes to an hour to do. It shouldn't take that long for all the hotels and airlines, and then slowly but surely you can do all the stores that you frequent. So I'll come up here. Any questions? We'll go ladies first.
For it's different than like getting credit cards for that store, right?
Right, credit cards for the store is not. I almost never condone that.
Okay.
So ready? Let me give you an idea. Watch this. A visual. This is my American Express business card. This is my Nordstrom's card. Okay. I would never get a Nordstrom card. I would just keep everything on this and get all the points from that. Okay. A, because there's a temptation with that. Even though, yeah, I only swipe if I have it. Plus, I'm trying to build loyalty. And the more loyalty you build with one card or one program, first of all, the points are accumulated a lot faster. Like on American Express Platinum, it's 5 times, Luke, you know this, you get 5 times the points if I book a flight using the American Express versus if I just book it on my own. So if I buy a $300 flight, they're going to give me $1,500 in points versus $300 in points if I just swipe their card. And all I do, and I'm going to pay it off in full no matter what, but as long as I swipe their card, I get 5 times the points. Okay, please. And those points can get me more flights, nice hotels, and actually stuff. There's a store where you can just buy stuff. Like I bought an iPad one year just from my points on the store. Cool. Okay. Question?
That was my question. So.
Okay.
Oh,
How about this? Ready? Big light bulbs. Do you guys like that?
yeah.
This is easy.
It's fun.
Ready? A lot of your parents don't even know this. A lot of your parents know the points on card. Okay. But a lot of your parents don't necessarily know about memberships, and sometimes you miss. Like Heidi, I remember when probably the first year of dating her, and she realized how much I traveled for work, and she said, I kept saying, "Oh, another free flight." I kept telling her, "I got you a free flight." She goes, "How'd you do that?" And I told her, and she's traveled to. She spent 2 years in Spain teaching English. She's traveled to Colombia, Argentina, and she didn't get a single point. And I think a couple of years ago, we tried to calculate how much she had missed out, and she missed out on probably, I don't know, dozens of free flights over her traveling years. So now, guess what? Every flight now, she plugs it in. She knows. So, any questions? What about takeaways, light bulbs?
Plug the number in.
Just plug the number in. Yeah. A lot of times when you know how you save your data on websites, it automatically will put it in once you start buying flights. But the easiest is at the kiosk. That's why you always check in. So here's what I do now. If you do it enough, it might not yield a lot of rewards right away. But if you stay consistent with this, I mean, it's awesome. Cool. And you can ball out like a baller and not spend the baller money and save that money instead.
Oh yeah.
You know. You ever go walk by? You see people in first class. You know, there are a lot of those people aren't necessarily balling; they're just good with points. Good. I mean, there's actually a guy on social media. His name is called the Points Guy. Seriously, that's his nickname, the Points Guy. I forget his real name. On social media, look him up, follow him, and you should see where he travels and how he travels. And it's all he has just learned the entire system, like what I do, but on like this is a Homemaker +8. He's on a complete set level of how to use the points to get other points. You can transfer points and secret loopholes on points where he's traveling first class on those, electronic reclining bed seats going to Europe, first class on the deck with caviar and fresh salmon on the flight, all points. And he's so good at it now. He's sponsored by like American Express and all these expensive big time companies. It's pretty cool. All right. He's getting more points. Yes. Freaking points. Okay, let's do this. To wrap up, can we go through assignments?
Yeah.
So everyone take a look at the last part of the agenda. Look, call an audible. We're going to skip drill for skill. I'm going to enter it. No. We'll get to roasting. Everyone go to the last page of the agenda, please. Okay. And if you're watching this video, just keep in mind we did not successfully record. I did not successfully record the PR talk, but we'll get that message back up. To go to the end, if you will, starting with assignments, where it says 8:15 wrap up. It's 6:20, by the way. The stuff that we're skipping, we're going to cover in Olean. Yeah. And on local preps. Like on, Wednesdays?
Yeah.
Okay. So assignment number 1, best version of yourself scorecard, the circle of influence scorecard, and the values exercise. Those are all in the first folder. Those are all due to me on email by Friday, November the 9th by 9 p.m. Okay, so I just want you to have those completed and send those up to me. Any questions? Okay, money assignment. Optional, open up a second checking account, student account. I'll put that optional, but highly encouraged. Credit score, I'll teach on one of the other future Wednesdays. And then membership sign up. Sign up for all your memberships. You don't have to send me any validation, but just sign them up. You want to start posting on a TLA page for fun? That's cool too. Okay. Fitness we'll come back to during the week. Book assignment. Okay. So I would like to unleash the next book assignment. Here's the next book review. The next book assignment, please note, is not due in Olean. It's due December 15th. So you have a lot more time. You have 2 months, twice the time. It's also a longer book. So I want you to start reading How to Win Friends and Influence People. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Okay. And they'll be due the 14th of December, not due before Olean. Okay. There'll be no fashion or macros or health assignments. We'll skip that. And as always, any debriefs are due to me in my inbox by 9 p.m. the day before the prep. Okay. And something to look forward to. Take a look at the bottom. So what you're going to learn in Olean, we're going to start diving into the training seminar. That's pretty cool. So we're going to go from running interviews to now how to run training. PR program, we're going to do a full review to get ready for the big church after Olean. And then 3, we're going to review the 3-way texting program that Mila and I were talking about. For money, we're going to talk about how to create startup capital. Meaning, okay, you've got money that you're saving. The company's giving you money. There's a 3rd way. It's called fundraising. I'm going to teach you how to fundraise with GoFundMe accounts, how to get sponsorship from parents. I'm going to give you a short idea. Let's say Naomi is my daughter, and she says, Dad, I'm trying to go to, Florence, Italy, because after she has a program, they do, right? To go to Florence. A lot of times, how many of you know parents that have really supported their kids to go abroad and they'll pay for expenses? Why? Because they believe it's a good experience. They believe it's a good value, right? So mom and dad, it's the same thing, except this time I'm asking you to sponsor me for my business experience, to pay my room and board, not to go to Florence, Italy and party and not really go to school. That's what happens, by the way. But to sponsor me for my room and board, to have a business experience that separates me that I can do to become a 5-star recruit. And that's like the gist of it. So we have and our division is actually the #1 division, definitely in the region, maybe in the company, at getting sponsorships. Not your money that you saved and not the company's money, but separate to give you more confidence. And the key is, can all of you get your room and board covered by someone who'll sponsor you? It could be grandma and mom, it could be just dad, it could be friends and family. But the key, and you can make a note, is I want you to try and get sponsored for your room and board for next summer. And we'll teach you how to do that in Olean. Okay? Last few things, we'll talk about professional image on your social media based on Luke's message. There will be no drill for skill, okay? But I might magically pop some of you up to do the interview just for fun, for my sake. So be prepared anyway, because you should know it. In other words, what you may have missed here, we'll end up doing at some point. And of course, you got the book discussion. So I'll stop there, okay? So do me a favor, take 60 seconds. You narrow down your biggest 1 or 2 light bulbs from the entire prep and what you appreciate. And then we'll share to wrap up. And for sake of time, let's do this. I would like everyone to post their biggest, use the light bulb emoji. I'd like you to post your biggest top 1 or 2 light bulbs right now on the TLA page. And we'll wrap up with what you appreciate. Okay, so take a few moments. Okay, so as you guys are posting, we'll do a quick round robin. Let's start with let's go to Manhattan, New York with Alejandra. We'll go to San Juan, and then we'll go to the pilot. We'll just do quickly what you appreciate. Make sure you post your light bulbs. So Alejandra, you start us up. We'll wrap up.
What I appreciate?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, circle of influence. The opportunity to be here and grow.
Wonderful.
And yeah.
Cool. Okay, we're going short and sweet. We'll go Christina, and then go around the horn there in San Juan. Go, Christina.
I appreciate you, Jeff.
Oh, I appreciate you too, kiddo. Thank you.
I appreciate the PR team.
Oh, good.
I appreciate just being here.
Good.
I appreciate the PR.
Good. Thanks, Claudia. And then David.
I appreciate my just getting people right now.
Nice. Your staff's crushing it. Okay, let's go to Fort Lauderdale. David, let's facilitate, please. Or someone in Fort Lauderdale. No one in Fort Lauderdale? Erica, start them off. You know how to do it. I'll unmute you. There you go. Go for it.
I appreciate being here and not being virtual.
There you go. Turn the computer around for me. We'll go right to left. We'll go right to left like last time. Go for it. What do you appreciate? Quickly.
I appreciate Flipco and
Okay, Aiden.
I appreciate the fact that I keep getting more steps given to me so that I can proceed. Like Maggie hired me, I got conducted in TLA, and I have more opportunities.
That's pretty cool to see Maggie, run a branch, and her rep here is in TLA. That's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. Let's go to Lauren and then Maggie. Lauren Miro and then Maggie.
I appreciate.
Okay, Maggie.
I appreciate my reps that are now at TLA.
Awesome. We'll go to Nicole Rodriguez and we'll go around the horn.
I appreciate being able to learn everything that I just learned, especially the membership stuff. Like, whoa, that's crazy.
Is there brain matter on the ceiling right now over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Julia Ortiz, Filipina.
I appreciate my mentor.
There you go. We'll go Gigi.
I appreciate my parents for, parenting a lot of the skills that you're teaching us. So you're kind of just, further putting it in there.
That's good. No, I get it. That's good. We'll go to the back, gentleman in the back, and then we'll end with Jordan. Alex.
I appreciate learning from someone like you.
Ah, thank you. Because like Filipino? No, okay. Go ahead.
All right, I appreciate everything that I learned today.
Outstanding. Jordan, welcome to TLA. Wrap us up.
Thank you. I appreciate having an opportunity to learn this stuff and basically what we learned today.
Wonderful. And Jordan, make sure if you want to send me a voice with some more extended light bulbs since you're new, I'll have an exchange with you before I leave, okay? And then David Delgado, wrap us up.
I appreciate all the effort being put in by everyone here. It's a great group. I'm looking forward to seeing how much this group grows over the next month.
There you go. We'll go quickly. What do you appreciate?
I appreciate you, Jeff.
Oh, I appreciate you. Thanps, kiddo.
I appreciate the staff over in Tampa.
There you go.
Definitely appreciate learning how to use the memberships now.
Cool.
Stage.
I appreciate all this free knowledge.
Free knowledge is for free.
I agree. I appreciate this. Toys.
Cool. Circle of influence.
I appreciate
The PR. I love the PR talk. Yes. Circle of influence.
I appreciate Rob.
Oh, appreciate Rob. And you appreciate? Nice job. I appreciate smart people. Nice.
Appreciate Jeff.
Appreciate you.
I appreciate you and you letting us out early so you
I appreciate Luke's talking on depth with that.
I appreciate the steady support and guidance of all the management.
Appreciate FSU winning right now and the food we're about to eat.
Ask at it. I appreciate the quality time we're gonna have to.
Giovanni Pasolini.
Oh my god.
Giovanni Pasolini. Oh man, don't let him hear you say that. Folks, it was real.
Wait, can I just say we're getting out so early that I'm nervous that we
Yeah.
Like, he's over here now. I was like, sure. Like, I feel like, can I go up and say some stuff?
Part of it is I'm utilizing a lot of the Wednesdays a lot more. Well, if you notice, I'm teaching a lot on Wednesdays.
So get on.
So, have an awesome night. For those of you in virtual land, thank you. Good night. Gainesville, land of gains. Good night. Thank you. Good night. All right, thanks everyone. And then here we'll coordinate over here. Bye, guys. Let's